Welcome to Roguecast, the official podcast of Rogues Gallery. We'll talk comics for the week, as well as whatever news is on our pop cultural radar. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
This is Dave.
And now, on with the show.
Hello, we're coming to you from the, we survived the storms.
Right, this was Stormy Tuesday.
Yep.
We are also calling it the Pirates of Dark Water Tuesday.
Yes.
This is for anybody who remembers, late 80s or early 90s?
I think it was like late 80s, early... Yeah,
something in there.
I don't remember the date.
Yeah, the world became flooded. And
true.
just as it did
The
this
dark
morning,
water.
and we became pirates for justice.
Yes, briefly.
Briefly, now we're back to doing podcasting
Yes.
for the
You're
store.
best friends with a hero because he comes from a lighthouse.
Yes. Nick and I were talking about this the other day. Some months ago, a year ago, whatever. I watched on YouTube the old Pirates of Dark Water series, which if people are hearing this recognize it, chances are you probably thought it was pretty cool. It was one of those before Batman, like the animated series and hit like the really good cartoons of the 90s. It was like a little secret, cool action adventure outlier. And Nick reminded me the lead character was mentored by a lighthouse keeper or something like that.
He
lived in a
had
lighthouse.
like of an Aquaman kind
And
of vibe.
as Lighthouse fan number one, this is a winning plot point to me.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I suggest watching a few episodes on YouTube if you're of a mind.
Sure.
But if not, we have a podcast to do for you, and we got a bunch of comics this week.
And there'll be less Pirates of Dark Water content, but not no Pirates of Dark Water
You
content.
never know.
it'll return.
Dynamite might release a
Oh,
Pirates of
that
Dark
seems
Water.
entirely possible. I think there was one a few years back.
Oh, was there?
Okay, so we had Free Comic Book Day on Saturday.
We're now post-free comic.
We were past Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
Went very well. Thank you everyone who came out. If you didn't come out, sorry you didn't get your free comics.
I don't know about Joe, but I'm still tired.
I'm tired.
I did not survive free comic book day.
Nick died and was resurrected as a lich.
Yes.
It's true. Lich Bud.
But as always on Free Comic Book Day, we announced our next events. One is the reading challenge, summer reading challenge for kids and tweens.
Up and running now.
Up and running now. I believe we already had 3 people turn in their packets and
Yeah,
everything.
these kids are crazy.
They are
crazy readers.
Yeah, one of them read like serious graphic novels, like 5 graphic novels. Had a big long. Serena was looking over. She's like, "This kid went home and read like 5 books."
Yeah.
And she was very impressed until I reminded her, "Serena, you read books like that still."
Yeah, it was like a little mini her.
Yeah.
Is it 5 or 6 or what's
I believe it's 5.
And if you haven't seen what we do for this before, this is all Serena's project, and it's gone great every year.
This is year 3.
But essentially, we have a little packet with suggested reading lists for graphic novels for about like 3 age groups.
Yep.
And they you get your kiddo to read some from that. There's some some lined pages in the back where all they have to do is just like write one line, one or two lines.
what their favorite part was.
What their favorite part was, just say to kind of indicate you read it.
You don't have to do a full book report.
You don't have to do a full book report.
You don't annotate it. There's no
it's a nice
notes.
chill thing.
Yes.
Then you bring it back, and we give you a cool prize bag with some goodies in it. And for those who happen to be among the first 10, you also get a $10 store gift coin. Those always go quick, so don't be sad if you don't get them. It's still a lot of fun. We put the kid's name up on the wall. We get them to sign it when they come in, so they get their kind of cool moment. But yeah, I know Serena wanted to revive that fun, good energy of the old like Pizza Huts and stuff like that that would do their summer reading programs, and just give kids good, some rewards and good energy towards reading.
Right, and anyone who completes our summer reading challenge can get a free CC's pizza. You got to go over there and like beg for it or like scam them out of it. Like we're not related to them anyway.
The downside is you ultimately have to eat the pizza.
You have to eat the pizza.
You get a reading challenge, then you get a bluffing challenge.
The bluffing challenge.
Not everyone
exactly right.
passes the bluffing
There's
challenge.
the summer reading challenge and the summer con challenge.
After you eat the pizza, later on there's the summer bathroom challenge.
No one has survived that one yet.
That's right. There were no survivors.
Free RPG Day is coming up on June 21st. They got some good offerings from that. We don't know exactly what all the...
We gotta start charging for stuff, or we're not gonna
make it. And then we have All Ages Awesomeness coming up in July. The 10th All Ages Awesomeness. There was a bit of a break between, the pandemic.
Yep.
But we're bringing it back this year. We don't have a full list of our people, but Andy Runton will be there.
And just for noobs to it, All Ages Awesomeness is the day we have artists out to do sketches for kids.
Yep.
They're for like a big chunk of the day, and kids kind of can request favorite characters, things like that, all within reason. We always say like They couldn't draw all of the X-Men fighting Galactus, but if you wanted a picture of Storm or Wolverine or whatever, they could do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's free sketch. You take what you get.
Yeah, but they're good, and they're accommodating as they can be.
Yep.
Again, within reason.
Do not come with your portfolio of characters you've designed and ask them to draw them for you.
Yeah, I will say, like, I was mentioning this to some kids, and I think they immediately started talking about some original character of theirs, and I'm like, we will have a sign up reminding you that is actually one limitation. They're not going to draw your original character.
Yeah, they're not doing design work for you.
Right. A lot of kids ask it very innocently. They just think it's cool. But yeah, if you wanted Leo from the Ninja Turtles or whatever, we can probably help you out there.
Yeah.
And it's just super fun.
Yep, it'll be a fun time. Game-wise this week, we got new Marvel Champions, Black Panther and Silk.
Yep.
There's the packs.
Right.
Packs.
They hadn't made Black Panther yet?
It's the Shuri Black Panther.
Oh, okay. Right on. Cool.
There's a board game called Square One, which is from the people who made Project L, which is a sort of a Tetris-y game where you put little shapes, 3D shapes together and try to make various shapes. It's a really cool game. Square One is a new version of it. It's different, but in the same sort of spatial reasoning kind of thing.
Okay.
And then we got Super Boss Monster, which, if you know Boss Monster, it is a game based on sort of like Nintendo style side-scrolling.
NES.
Oh yeah, old NES, like
Super Boss
side-scrolling, and you play the Boss Monster. And
although the actual game is you're in fact building a dungeon kind of tableau of cards, and you're trying to lure from a communal adventurers pack in the center of the table, lure adventurers into yours and kill them with your traps and monsters.
Right, before they get to you and kill you.
You also, when the other players go, you sabotage their dungeon.
Sure.
You'll play cards and stuff that will make their traps break down.
But this version has a very, like a Super Nintendo looking box. It is the next evolution.
The packaging the whole time has been like an expert reproduction of both of the NES cartridges, of Game Boy packs, I believe, as well,
for the expansion packs.
And so yes, SNES makes sense as the next evolution of it.
This one adds a thing. There's a central town board. So, and it's compatible with all the previous Boss Monster stuff, too.
Very cool.
It's a standalone game. But basically, if the heroes start stacking up in town, they overflow into the landmarks and get boosts that makes them tougher to kill.
So you're saying it's backwards compatible?
Yes, it's backwards compatible. Anyway, this looks super fun. And those guys have made a lot of good games.
Right, and like the visual style on all the cards is all the sort of pixelated, bitmapped monsters that look really cool.
These will be 32-bit.
Yep.
And then we got the long-awaited Chew RPG. This is based on the comic book series Chew, which David and I were talking about the other day, and I realized it is like a manga premise in that it has like 8 premises to it.
Right. Chew was one of the in the early days of when we became Rogues Gallery.
Yep.
It was one of our sort of one of the breakout cult it's a kind of a cult comic that became an actual hit comic.
Yep.
Like a full hit comic. We had the writer out for the original trade paperback release and all that.
We gave out chicken wings.
And so the premise of this, the premise 1, is that in this world, the bird flu, which is now feels weirdly dark, but it's this like all played with kind of dark comedy, became such a big thing that the FDA became like the most powerful kind of governmental agency. And
eating chicken was outlawed.
Eating chicken is outlawed,
there were fried chicken speakeasies.
Right. You had to go in like back alleys and stuff like that, and only the wealthy could go in there, or outlaws.
And that's one premise.
Right, and so the other premise is one of the FDA guys. The FDA hunt down these speakeasies and stuff like that. And our lead character, what's his full name? Tony Chu. CHU. That he has a weird psychic power, a kind of...
Whenever he eats a bit of something, he gets a whole history of it.
Right. So if he ate an apple, he would, taste
he knows the pesticides and where it was grown and all that stuff.
Right.
But it means when he's investigating, if he eats a bit of someone's ear, he can figure out how they got killed and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
so there's a bit of cannibalism to it.
Yep. Now, along the way, as you read through the series, which is great fun.
It is a ton of fun.
It is a crazy ride, which will ultimately also include glimpses of things like aliens.
Yep.
A little ass-kicking chicken named Pollo.
Yep, he's a rooster.
A rooster, yep.
Also, lots more people with food-related powers.
I think there was a chocolate...
There was someone who could craft weapons out of chocolate, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There was a food reviewer who wrote reviews that were so the wording was so perfect that when you read it, like you would taste the food.
Yeah.
Was that his girlfriend? Was she the lady who becomes his girlfriend? Yeah. Anyway, there is a role-playing game now of it, and in the game you get to play these kind of quirky, weird agents in this offbeat setting. There's also like a book of like scenarios and new powers, and allows you to also play like outlaws in it, like the people who are running the speakeasies.
Yep.
But it's one of those, like, if you haven't read Chew, that might just all sound just utterly insane. If you have read Chew, you're like, oh yeah, that's the comic.
It's utterly insane, but it's fun.
But it's very fun, yeah. And it also had like a really good artist on it too.
Rob Guillory. Worth noting that Rob Guillory's creator-owned book, which bears a passing resemblance to Chew in that it's kind of a weird high concept. Farmhand. Its final arc just started this week.
Oh, nice.
So there's been a big break.
Synchronicity.
Yes. So, but yeah, the Chew RPG, we have the base game, the expansion, and the...
there's a GM screen, but it's like called like the conspiracy board, because it is like a whiteboard where you can kind of jot information down conspiracy style. And I believe you sort of communally as a group, this is kind of a little indie game element, will actually kind of create the wild conspiracies and underpinnings of what's going on, the big picture stuff for your setting. So the players get to participate in kind of a little bit of world building. But yeah.
All right. Let's talk about comics this week. It is a pretty big week.
Yep.
In fact, so big, we had trouble fitting it all on the wall.
Yeah, we made multiple passes at it and ultimately figured out a way to make it work.
There's a lot of graphic novels. We won't cover all of them, but there's a fair amount of stuff in collected editions and a lot of all-ages graphic novels, that kind of thing.
And we got a bunch of good little golden books and things like that.
Yep, there's a whole selection of little golden books. Yep. Anything from Harrison Ford to Billy Porter to Barbie.
These ones... I was going to say these are all real people. But maybe not.
Barbie's not.
Less so with Barbie.
Also, neither is...
I have seen Barbie in the flesh.
Neither is Michelangelo of the Ninja Turtles.
Margot Robbie.
He's also one of the ones in there. Or Thing from Wednesday.
I have seen a movie with Michelangelo in his turtle flesh.
What about Thing?
Let me just cut your hand off
from Wednesday, Thing?
Again, I've seen this character interact on television.
You know what? And Thing is now... I think he's got a gig as a CNN contributor now. He just gets up and gives the finger to people. He's got a talk show.
John Carpenter's Thing.
Yes. All right. So we have several like one-shots and miniseries. I'm going to cover Marvel stuff first. Amadeus Cho is now 20 years old, which is to say the character is 20 years old.
Right.
He's existed in 20, but the character himself is probably in his early 20s maybe.
Yeah. It sort of works.
So this is all written by creator Greg Pak, who created the character.
Yeah, I don't remember if the character predated this, but I became sort of mainly aware of him during World War Hulk.
He did predate that a little bit.
Which the writer wrote.
There are three stories in here. One of them is his early days, pre-Gamma Glory era. Tells when they first appeared, which was in 2006.
That was when he was like this. He's a super smart Korean kid, right?
Yep.
Korean?
Yep. His parents were murdered because of his intelligence. Like they were killed. They were trying to get him or something.
And like he would sort of, in that Robert Downey Sherlock movie.
Yeah.
You know how he would sort of do all these little calculations and know right where to punch somebody or throw something. Amadeus Cho was, in addition to being like, computer whiz and all of that stuff, they always called him the seventh smartest person on Earth. He also could kind of do things like that. He had the Robert Downey thing. And I think maybe, did it precede that movie? I think it might have.
2006? Yes, it did by 2 years.
Yeah. Oh my God, Guy Ritchie ripped off Amadeus Cho.
So Amadeus Cho, he also had a little coyote pup as a sidekick.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But in this one, this is like early on, he is friends with Hercules and Namora and Angel. And they have a little run-in with some military people.
They were like a little sort of new champions.
Yes. It was a fun story because they did that Incredible Hulk book after the Hulk.
And that was really good.
Then the second one is his Totally Awesome Hulk days, where he basically drained off the gamma energy from Banner and became a sort of a swaggery giant Hulk.
Yeah, he was like a nerdy bro.
Yep. And then the third story is his current incarnation, where his codename is Brawn, and he sort of shrunk down to he's always green, he's always hulky, but he's not as over-hulked as he was, and he's back to having his intelligence a little bit more. And it touches on where he is with like Hercules and X-Factor, X-Factor's Angel and all that now. These are all three really good stories that remind me how much I like Amadeus Cho when he's written properly.
Yeah.
And
good supporting character.
Greg Pak definitely knows how to write the character he created. So super fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed the revisit because I had fond memories of Greg Pak did famously write Planet Hulk, and then World War Hulk that followed that, and for a while Amadeus Cho was basically like the Hulk's buddy in the same way that Rick Jones had been in the past.
This was super fun and a good introduction to the character. I wish more of it was in print. I wish they had the big digest of Incredible Hulk or something like that. But
yeah,
that'd be fun.
I agree.
But it's good stuff, and I really enjoyed that. Fantastic Four Fanfare is a new miniseries paying homage to Marvel Fanfare, which is a comic in the 80s that sort of did short stories.
Yeah, a kind of off the beaten path spotlight on different characters from Marvel each issue. But this one is all FF, or each issue will zero in on a different member.
They're bringing in a lot of people who've worked on FF in the past. So the first story is by Mark Waid, the second one's by Alan Davis. The third one, I don't remember if Andrew Wheeler has written FF before, but Sarah Pacelli does the art. So there's great art throughout this. And they're just a lot of them seem to be about how much of a jerk Human Torch is.
Well, that is I guess, when I was doing the write-up for it, I think they said each one focuses on a different character. Yeah. And I'm like, is this one about Ben, or is it about the Human Torch?
It's definitely to be about the Torch, and he's a jerk in every one.
Yeah, I guess he's a hothead, Randy.
He's a jerk.
But there's kind of a fun premise in the first one, where the Thing has caused some havoc in the city and has been hauled before a judge. And he's it's clear that this is not the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
And the judge is he's like, we know we can't, we're not going to throw you in jail because that just makes the jail a target for supervillains and stuff. So he's like, I'm going to give you 2 weeks or whatever probation where you have to control that temper. Yeah. And he's like, we're going to be monitoring you or whatever. And, of course, Johnny's like, I'm going to prank the hell out of him. The
solution to that was fairly clever, I thought.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in there. But anyway, yeah, if you're looking for some character-centric stories, and also, they're going to have, Jonathan Hickman and some other big names on this as the series goes along. But, if you're feeling that FF vibe, what's it called? Fantastic Four Fanfare.
We got a new Star Wars #1. This is Star Wars starting out after Return of the Jedi, so it's Luke, Leia, Han, that bounty hunter that Nick loves, Mon Mothma, it's sort of the beginnings of the New Republic. Right. This is an era I was always really interested in, and they haven't really explored a lot of it.
Yeah, so the Empire is in decline, but not completely out yet.
Not gone.
And I don't think this is too big a thing to give away, but there's pirates that they're dealing with early on. And they've commandeered a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And so that's one of multiple plots going on in it. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the landscape of the Star Wars universe after the events of Return of the Jedi.
And really nice art by Phil Noto.
Yep. There's one of the scenes that was interesting to me was the diplomacy stuff between where Princess Leia and Mon Mothma are trying to negotiate some treaties and stuff like that. And arguably that sounds boring, but it's a subplot.
It's done well.
And it's done well. And there's this group that they want to bring in, and essentially this sector or something of the galaxy, and they're like, we think you're kind of trying to you get more out of this than we do, and so they're trying to negotiate it. And there's actual negotiating going on, not our dumb presidents negotiating. But it's actually interesting to see, how do you try and offer something to, essentially a space country.
Yeah.
That
space country.
That doesn't want what you're serving up. So it's interesting.
We got another It's Jeff one shot. This is a bunch of little shorts by Kelly Thompson and Gurihiru, and then Gustavo Duarte.
Featuring Marvel's land shark, their adorable land shark.
I don't know that any of us know this land shark particularly well, right? Nick, you might have the best claim on the character.
Yeah, I have the best claim, probably, but, just only because I tangentially read Deadpool.
Emerged from Gwenpool's comics.
Yep.
These are all cute little, mostly wordless stories. Really cute art.
Am I correct that he's basically a little puffy, almost like if you took one of those squishable toys or stuffed animals and did a shark with legs?
Yeah.
And is he from Gwenpool?
He's Gwenpool.
Where does she come from, though?
She comes from our universe.
Yeah,
I know she does, but in our regular universe there are not sharks with legs. Where does
I don't remember.
When submerged, this
I don't know.
Does he doesn't talk or anything, right?
No.
He's almost like a very friendly dog.
He's like a very friendly dog, but he's a shark.
He's
He's mischievous. He's a little.
These are very cute. I am not a Jeff fan in particular.
Yep.
But I'm like, these are all very cute. I get why people like this character.
Yes.
Yeah, we have sort of seen him through some of the side projects, Randy. You know,
Marvel Snap.
Marvel Snap, and he's in games like Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
And just as an example, like in the first 2-pager, Kate Bishop, who's like his kind of caretaker, owner, whatever in this, is planning on going on a vacation, and Jeff starts to imagine what their vacation will be like. And it's like him riding in first class while she's like in an animal carrier and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's super fun. I feel like people should just go ahead and get it for their kids and maybe probably enjoy it themselves.
This is going to sell out regardless. I mean, it's just a lot of fun.
So Nick doesn't think you should even bother because it's going to sell out.
No, I'm saying get here quick.
Yeah. Do not let Jeff escape you.
A couple new sci-fi books from Image. One is called Free Planet. It's by Aubrey Sitterson and Jed Doherty. Names I don't really know. I know Sitterson's a name I remember from I think worked on some of the G.I. Joe books, that kind of thing. But basically, it's a planet that has an empire and a republic that are both trying to get it for its energy sources, and they have declared their independence and are trying to build this independent planet, and warfare ensues.
What's I can't remember. Is the tone on this is it completely serious sci-fi?
It's a little more. It's not wacky, but it's definitely
has a little tongue-in-cheek moments.
Big adventure, yeah.
Yeah.
Now a little more tongue-in-cheek is Blood and Thunder, which is an idea from Robert Kirkman from before he even did
Walking Dead.
That was I think it was during Walking Dead times.
Okay.
But it's when he was developing Invincible and Walking Dead, he had this idea. And he has a text piece in the back about it. But he handed it off to his friend Benito Cereno, who's written a bunch of other stuff, and E.J. Sue, who was the artist on Tech Jacket that Kirkman did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And basically this is about a freelance space bounty hunter with a sentient gun. And her name is Blood and his name is Thunder? Yes.
Okay.
That's what you need to know.
It's literally just a space buddy cop.
Yeah.
Between a woman and a gun.
Yes.
If that sounds interesting to you, then this book might be for you.
Correct. There's another Image First this week, the reprint of Junkyard Joe. For $1, you can read this story that has Gary Frank art, Jeff Johns writing,
it's
about a robot in Vietnam.
It's kind of like his homage to the G.I. Robot from the old DC Weird War comics, but updated for the very entertaining battles in Vietnam.
I dug this. I read this on kind of a whim and was enjoyed it.
Gary Frank's artwork is really
Does
good.
Junkyard Joe, the robot, engage in any atrocities?
No, he does not.
Oh, thank God.
He speaks.
He doesn't speak.
Oh, does he not?
No.
Oh,
No.
interesting.
This is a weird one. There is a book called Los Monstruos, which is from Dark Horse Comics. We only got a couple because some of the original concepts are a bit of a hard sell.
Right, we don't always know if it's going to land.
And having now read it, I'm a little worried we're going to sell out. So if you want this, come get it fast. But this is James Robinson writing, Jesus Marino art, and it is basically a Los Angeles that has been overtaken by Universal Monster-style monsters.
Yep.
Creature from Black Lagoon, vampires. The Internal Affairs lady is a Frankenstein. And the lead character is a werewolf detective.
Yeah, so this is mystery and suspense within this kind of monster city.
And it's definitely got that noir Chinatown vibe.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it.
Mad Cave gives us a sci-fi one-shot called Vanishing Point by Mark Russell and Juan Doe.
This was really good.
It's a really good Twilight Zone-ish story.
Yeah, I was going to say Twilight Zone, Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's kind of dark about space guys who go up in space to do mining, and they go on by themselves, but they are supposed to hit a quota to basically pay for their lives back on Earth or wherever they're from.
Yep.
And things
go badly. Yeah. Yeah. It was a really good one shot. I recommend it if you've been digging the EC Comics or Hello Darkness.
Yeah.
It's, especially the sci-fi flavored one. This one's good.
So Vanishing Point.
Vanishing Point. Space Ghost and Jonny Quest team up, or possibly fight and then team up for Space Quest from Dynamite. Really nice art on this one.
What I know from it came from the sign I made and looking it up, and it sounded like the Quest family was investigating like some a downed UFO or a taken in UFO at Area 51, and in some way this will lead them to Space Ghost, which I thought sounds like a fun idea.
Yep. Yeah. Dynamite also has Captain Planet and the Planeteers #1, the gritty reboot of Captain Planet we've all been waiting for.
You know it's gritty because Captain Planet has a beard now.
He has a moss beard.
All right, but it's not that gritty.
It's not.
So we have to give it be truthful about it. It is like a PG to PG-13 thing still. But at some point they do some people are trying to shoot him down, and they're like switch to the depleted uranium bullets, and like he thinks he's okay, but then those hit him, and he's like, oh.
But I will say, unlike some of the other Dynamite properties where they wait to the very end to tease the main character or whatever, he's page 1.
Yep. Yeah.
This is a Captain Planet book.
Yep. But it is a reinvention of the idea, and you'll see a new generation of sort of Planeteers and stuff in there. It looks pretty solid to me.
Yep.
I watched a lot of Captain Planet. I don't know why.
Did you? It wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great.
As a 90s kid, I wanted it to be good because I was like an environmentally responsible kid.
But David also had the Gestalt kind of mentality that all these kids coming together to...
He could fight the Marauder.
It's a cool idea.
Or Venom.
What are we talking about here? Oh, yes,
Other
of course, the
Gestalt
Venom
beings.
The other Gestalts.
Had they done it right, we would have found out that all of those people were Venom.
Which I guess is worth noting that All New Venom does come out this week. We've all been enjoying it. This is the big reveal of who Venom is. We got that last time.
This is
why.
Right.
It's a big, long...
And I think we're still wrapping our head around it a little bit.
It's pretty wild.
I thought the stories go, it was fine.
It was like... Al Ewing?
Yeah.
Still a good writer, still interesting stuff in it. I don't think any of us were in love with the reveal as in and of itself.
Right.
But kind of we're like, well, let's see what he does with it. And that still is in place. But there's a lot of twists and turns to the explanation in this one.
Also, if you don't like Paul suffers in this issue.
I will also just be glad to get rid of the character of Jackpot.
Of who?
Same.
Of Jackpot. Her wrist gauntlet that gave her wacky powers that turned her into
it's
like
weird.
Random things.
It was dumb.
It was
and they kind of make fun of it in this issue, which I appreciate.
For a character MJ who had like not done any superheroing before, now she's had like every single superpower. She's like, oh yeah, I turned into a glop goo person. Oh, I was a super strong person made of the sun. Oh, I was like, I was an
Kree
ice
super soldier.
Yeah, I was a Kree super soldier. Like,
but Dave. This means that now she has this experience, and she and Peter can have a happy married life again.
Oh, you're talking about my awesome theory that they are going to get together?
Yep. It's as likely as your Marauders theory.
Yeah,
it seems to be, unless in the next few issues of the new Amazing Spider-Man book, which is selling quite well.
Yep.
That comes to pass. It looks like it's not coming to pass.
Speaking of,
there Amazing Spider-Man #3 is also this week.
The character of Itsy Bitsy continues.
Right? Itsy Bitsy is a character from Deadpool Spider-Man. You'd be forgiven for not knowing that, like I didn't, because you didn't like Deadpool Spider-Man.
This is definitely kind of a weird book going into some weird directions that Spider-Man hasn't. However, I do think the incidental writing is interesting, and these weird kind of flashbacks that he's getting in his drug-induced haze is pretty interesting, revealing some things about like Peter's past that are kind of twisted.
I would love a not weird Spider-Man book at some point, but if we're going to get weird, at least I'd like better written, and this is better written. Because Zeb Wells was weird and also not very good.
What is it? What is weird in Peter's past? I've got to know.
Well, whatever drug he's on is kind of twisting like his memories.
Okay,
he's remembering like Aunt May coming and yelling at him, and
like
him being
interactions with Ben.
Yeah.
And, like about certain things. There's just some
I like to think he's like, I remember when I yelled at Uncle Ben for being bad at Minecraft. And I was like, I'm glad you're dead, old man.
And Pepe Larraz's artwork just
really
continues to be really, really nice.
We got a reprint of Mouse Guard, Belly of the Beast, the very first Mouse Guard from 20 years ago. I guess Amadeus Cho and Mouse Guard about the same age.
Yeah. They should have a team up.
They're doing this, but are they releasing? Am I wrong? Are they releasing the trade paperbacks again?
They are supposed to be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as
I
a
had a couple
reminder,
people asking.
if by chance you are not familiar with Mouse Guard, it's one of those critters with swords genres,
Yep.
and actually takes itself quite seriously.
Yeah.
Even I would say more so than Usagi Yojimbo, which has a little bit more incidental humor.
Yeah.
This is like kind of very much a medieval adventure, things like that, but there's like...
It's kind of sad.
It tends to have a darker tone to it. David Peterson?
Yeah.
Was like a printmaker originally, and there's always a unique look to this. Like even when he doesn't draw it, the book is always square shaped. It's not like tall like other comics. It's sort of square shaped, and has usually very beautiful art that's very evocative of the like sort of different seasons that the characters live in. But it is. If you like Secret of Nim, Redwall, any of those types of things, Bloomborough from the Magic the Gathering sets, this will all fall within. If you would like to see a mouse wield a sword, hey,
and fight a snake like it's a dragon.
That's right.
And speaking of, we also got the second issue of Mouse Guard, Dawn of the Black Axe, which is the kind of. It happens before in the timeline. It's a prequel. About the original wielder of the Black Axe.
Right. One of the sort of iconic heroes of the series.
It's the Excalibur of the Mouse Guard.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, and it was a a good first issue. I haven't read this one yet, but the first
very
issue was good.
Who's the artist on it?
It's Gabriel Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's doing great stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you hesitate to say because who knows that he's having the time of his life doing this, but it looks like he is having the time of his life doing this, and it's like incredibly detailed.
And David Peterson is doing the coloring and stuff, so he brings his kind of style to Rodriguez's.
Nice.
Second issues this week include Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe one last time, which you can look at the cover. He's fighting Capwolf.
So it's a lot of fun.
I hate that I like this book, but it's super fun.
Be proud of your shame, Randy.
I'm not. Resurrection Man Quantum Karma, the second issue of the Black Label Resurrection Man book by Ram V. This is a very strange book.
Yeah.
But interesting. New Absolute, we got Absolute Superman number 7, and which is a focus on Brainiac, and Absolute Green Lantern number 2, which continues to develop that. X-Men number 16, which brings in a mutant team of bad guys, calling themselves X-Men. The return of G.I. Joe Real American Hero, the Larry Hama one after all the silent issues. This is kind of fun. The premise of this issue, which I've missed a couple issues, but I jumped back into this. First of all, Paul Pelletier is doing the art.
Yeah.
The art, G.I. Joe has never had art this good. Like the main G.I. Joe book, this art is so good.
Does the cover promise something that actually happens in the book?
It does. So
the cover is so good.
This starts with a Crimson Guardsman family from Springfield, because Springfield had a big civil war between the zombie mutant G.I. Cobra of Serpentor and then Cobra, classic Cobra, and the artificial intelligence, whatever its name is. There was a big throwdown in Springfield. So this family of Crimson Guardsmen, a dad, mom, and 2 kids, or maybe a dad, mom, kid, and like an infirm grandpa, defect to G.I. Joe. And so in order to re-infiltrate Springfield, the Joes are going to send in a ninja squad disguised as this Crimson Guardsman family. And it's funny, because Stalker's laying it all out, and he's like, Snake Eyes is used to wearing a full rubber mask, so he's no big deal for him. And he's like, Dan is, he doesn't speak. And also, this guy will be perfectly, he's also used to full rubber masks. So, like, they're sending in their ninja team of Snake Eyes, Scarlet, Jinx, and some guy named Sean, who I don't know who that is.
Sean. He's the red shirt,
and
right?
they are going in to be undercover Crimson Guardsmen.
I'm trying to remember, was one of the guys who was like back in the day, like in Vietnam with Snake Eyes, was that a Sean?
Maybe it was.
There was Wade Collins, there was... anyway.
I don't know.
That sounds fun, though.
It was fun, and you can jump right back into it, and the art is fantastic.
G.I. Chaos. I need to take a look at that with Paul Pelletier art.
Third issue of Godzilla Heist has a few more twists and turns, some deaths, some betrayals, everything you want from a heist book, but with Godzilla and Mechagodzilla.
Nice.
What else we got in single issues?
I think the only other one I was going to mention, I actually haven't been necessarily following this, but Storm number 8, her solo series from Marvel, has her teamed up with Thor in it. So if you want to see Storm and Thor, and Storm who has wielded Asgardian hammer, the hammer before. And you know what? I'm just going to mention it for fun. The facsimiles this week include the first appearance of Metamorpho, who you may know from coming soon to the Superman movie.
Yep.
But this is fun to see the swaggering Rex Mason before he becomes Metamorpho in it. First issue. But it's introduced all the iconic elements of it. Who's the girlfriend?
Sapphire Stag?
Star Sapphire? Or no, the Sapphire
Stag.
Stag, right. And it's also got Simon Stagg and his Neanderthal assistant... Java, yes. Thank you. I couldn't remember these. Oh, and the art was by... Is it Ramona Fredone?
It's Ramona Fredone.
Yeah, so it's really, really, really great artwork by one of the kind of pioneering women artists in comics. So that's a cool one to pick up.
Nick, any other single issues?
No.
Okay. Graphic novel-wise, like I said, we're not going to cover everything. This is a lot. But I want to mention that the EC Comics from Oni Press, their horror one, Epitaphs from the Abyss, has been put out in a trade this week.
Uh-huh.
We've got the Kingdom Come Compact Edition. You can get the entirety of the Mark Waid, Alex Ross, Dark Future DC.
Yeah, one of the most
$10.
iconic DC events ever done.
Yep. Lore Olympus has Volume 8 in both softcover and hardcover.
Yep.
Superman Final Crisis Legion of Three Worlds in hardcover. This is, I'm sure, because of the Dark Legion in Superman.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then a whole slew of little golden books.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
Everything from Harrison Ford to Barbie to Michelangelo of the Turtles.
All real characters this time.
All real characters. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about Thunderbolts, and then we'll have some other news and stuff. All right, so spoiler warning, if you have not yet seen Thunderbolts, you've probably already been spoiled on the alternate title, but if you haven't, we're not going to say it right now.
We will spoil other things.
We will in just a minute, we're going to spoil it. But if you've not seen Thunderbolts and you want to see it, skip this segment and come back to listen to the rest of the podcast.
Right. I think it's safe to say we had a general, all had a pretty good experience with it. And this movie is rating big on Rotten Tomatoes. People are really liking it, so go give it a shot.
Yep. All right, that is all the spoiler warning you're going to get. The other title is New Avengers.
It's true.
Which Nick knows because he got spoiled on it.
I did. They waited until Monday to do it.
If you did not see it opening weekend, they were like... I understand why they did it. They're like, we've already gotten the people who were going to go see this movie anyway.
Yeah.
Now we can get the people who aren't going to see it and then realize, oh, it's an Avengers movie? I like the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Sure.
I understand the marketing of it.
Yeah, I get it.
It does kind of suck to spoil one of your big things.
Overall, it's not the hugest thing to spoil.
It's not. And in fact, it's not particularly true of 99% of the movie.
Yeah.
It is a reveal that happens kind of in the last few minutes and just prognosticates this, how this happening, and it just shows you the barest glimpse of it.
Right.
But it is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
But mostly it's about, a team of misfits in a somewhat Guardians of the Galaxy tradition.
Yeah, so... I think, as always, on this one, we're a little bit of a spectrum. Nick enjoyed it the most of us.
Probably.
I don't know if Dave or I enjoyed it more.
I think I might have enjoyed it a little more than you did.
Which is weird, because I'm the one who's in the tank for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, but you also were you have a bigger connection to the Thunderbolts comic.
I do. I did not expect this to be like the Thunderbolts comic, and it is not at all.
Right, but some little part of you had a little dying child's heart in it when they didn't show up.
And I should stop bringing that with me to the theater, because I get questions.
Yes. Well, it's a good for an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yes. No, which is not to say that I did not like it. I did enjoy it. It's probably my second favorite movie I've seen this year after Sinners. I wanted to like it more than I did.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It is not a traditional Marvel movie.
Not at all, no.
The third act is not them fighting a big giant, knockdown, drag out.
Yeah.
Before we say what it is, let's just say what the premise is.
Yeah, no, I was getting to that. Okay. I mean, my whole premise is getting that is this is a movie about grief and loss and dealing with those things. It's viewed through the eyes of Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, a new character, Bob, played by Bill Pullman's son. So
is that who that is?
Yeah, Lewis Pullman.
Okay, I didn't know who that was. This is about basically all the sort of misfits of the Marvel Universe who've been working Black Ops for Val, the head of the CIA. By the way, I still hate they couldn't just bring back S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. I don't like it being the CIA. It's too grounded.
Well, she has her Ox.
Yeah,
whatever
I
that
guess.
was.
Whatever that was. It's a lame name.
It was.
Just,
Yeah.
For all that I love Winter Soldier, Wrecking Shield Permanent I think was a bad call.
Was that kind of a nod to Oscorp or something?
Maybe, I don't
It was
know.
kind of, yeah.
At any rate, she has been using U.S. Agent, played by Wyatt Russell.
Yep.
Ghost, played by someone whose name I've forgotten.
Yep.
And Yelena Belova as like her special ops. And now, as she's being investigated by the newly Congressman Bucky
Yep.
and his buddy Wendell Pierce, Congressman Wendell Pierce, or maybe Senator Wendell Pierce. I don't know what his actual character name was, but he's Wendell Pierce.
Yeah, that's true.
She is in danger of being impeached from her job as the head of the CIA, and so she decides to clean them all up. She puts them all in one place together, thinking they'll fight and then she'll burn whatever's left. But instead, they wind up coming together.
Right.
Yeah. Sort of.
And inadvertently taking in or releasing, I guess, an experiment.
Yeah,
botched experiment.
who was supposed to be... They thought he was dead, but he's going to be like the most powerful superhuman that created for use for this by the CIA.
Codename Project Sentry.
Codename Project Sentry.
Yeah.
And Yelena's father, Red Guardian, also gets involved because he's running a limo business.
Right.
So he overhears, Val talking about all this.
David Harbour, while there are serious moments in this, especially kind of in the latter half, brings a lot of the kind of energetic levity to the thing.
Yeah.
He is his usual kind of over-the-top, ridiculous Russian presence.
So
Yes.
I want to give credit to Marvel Marketing for doing this right, because they didn't give away a lot in the trailers.
No.
And they crafted a story that showed basically a different movie than what we got.
Right.
Like, the movie they showed us, like, these guys were all going to be working for Val.
Yeah.
And they were, but almost from the outset, she is the antagonist.
100%.
And I thought that was really interesting, and I liked that. What I was not expecting was how Sentry-focused it was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. Sentry, the person they inadvertently release, is arguably, well, he's sort of villain B after Val, but he is a victim of hers as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the movie is sympathetic to him, but when his alternate form, the Void, a super powerful and dangerous type of villainous Superman type thing, if you will, comes to be, these misfits have to like bring him down, even though they kind of have also connected with.
I think none of us are particularly Sentry fans.
No.
But I like the original Sentry that Paul Jenkins...
Yeah, that was solid.
Was it Jay Lee? I think it was Jay Lee.
It was Jay Lee, and there were other artists in there too, but basically, it was a premise of that there had been a lost Marvel hero on the level of a Superman, who had connections to a lot of Marvel's big characters, but who, and I actually, it's funny, I read this recently and I already kind of forget.
Well, when they brought him back, they were doing like the lost Marvel stories of like, oh, this is how he connected to the Hulk, and this is how he connected this, and it was interesting, and it was like, oh, they're doing like threading him through Marvel history. It was really interesting. They didn't do that with the MCU, and I don't know that I would want it. I didn't like the idea of the retconned history thing.
Right, and so in the comic, what had happened was, because when the Void aspect of him emerged, to keep that, they needed the Sentry to not exist so the Void wouldn't exist.
Right.
And so kind of, I forget if it was through Doctor Strange or whatever, but they kind of mind wiped the whole world of his existence.
Yeah.
And therefore he wouldn't become Sentry, and therefore the bad guy of the Void wouldn't be created.
Right.
And it's still, of course, something happens still, not like exactly what happens in the Thunderbolts movie, but a little like it.
Yeah.
But I think we would all agree that they came up with a pretty good distillation of it.
Yeah, they did.
They kept the Void and the Sentry connection.
I will say, Bendis is the guy who brought the Sentry back, and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And Bendis, as always, didn't really understand the point of a character, just like with the Hood. And so he kind of ruined Sentry when he brought him back.
Right.
And bringing him back brought him. And I thought that these guys did a good job of like, well, if we're going to use the Sentry, what's interesting about him? What works for the MCU? And they did what they always do. They found the version of the character that works for the MCU.
Yeah.
Right. And what's interesting is, although the character seems like he might be, depressive, bipolar... Meth addict. He's got these things going for him. But they mostly weren't super specific about it, so I think in a clever way... he is a stand-in for any sort of debilitating mental illness.
Yeah, for sure.
And a sympathetic view of it, and that is interesting to see among villains because it also means that the solution really cannot be without seeming real messed up. It can't be they just beat him to the ground.
Right, that's Batman's job. He's the one who beats up in the mentally ill.
It's really all he does. That's all he does.
But yeah, them having to deal with their own trauma, and I've heard people calling this Marvel's Inside Out.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I could see it. Right, because these are all people with sort of scarred pasts, and they like John Walker, U.S. agent, is like a guy who's always been in the shadow of Cap. Yeah. Everybody thinks of him as like a wannabe.
Oh, he killed a man on live television.
What? So what?
The sort of dark reveal of him, like basically going into depression and not being able to handle his baby and his wife.
Yeah.
That was dark, man.
Was?
Yeah.
You know, my favorite line in this movie, though, in the entire movie, was when they all come to find Yelena in the darkness, and she's like, "Oh, you all had to fight your demons," and Bucky's like, "Yeah, my past is pretty great, so I didn't have any problems." Like, that was hilarious.
Great bit of deadpan.
Yeah. I liked all these oddballs coming together. Their whole like hate each other, then they become friend thing. Like it's very cliched.
Right.
It was done well.
Yep. Yeah. It's a cliche that works when you do it well, and they did it pretty well in this. I was a little overall too quippy for me, you know, with a little bit of what's his name, Red Guardian.
Yeah.
Kind of always dropping the tension in a scene.
I do love David Harbour's character though.
But yeah, his version of it is great. David Harbour obviously brings something to the table.
He also gave the emotional speech to Yelena that she needed.
He did. I think I just wanted a little bit more of that overall.
Yeah.
I want that balance to have aired a little bit more on the serious
Florence
side.
Pugh is always good in this. Like she's so great in Black Widow. She's fantastic in Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye's my favorite appearance by her, by the way. When she and Kate are talking in her apartment, that'd be my favorite thing that she does.
Yeah.
But I really like her here too.
That was great. The opening scene with her infiltrating the whatever facility, and they do that shadow fight down the hallway where you're seeing an overhead view, and it's like it was really well shot. I thought well choreographed. The action was really good.
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say that she was kind of the heart, the central character? You would say it's an ensemble piece, but she's kind of the heart of it.
For sure.
She rescues a guinea pig.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I liked. My wife loved. She was like, did not leave him behind.
What's the book, Save the Cat or whatever? Or, do you know, or it's a Hollywood truism, one of those things, that if a character like saves an animal or does something like that, you know, no matter kind of what else they do, that there's something redeemable and good about them. So,
and then I thought the way they did some really unexpected stuff with the Sentry or Void. There's this great bit where they're starting to rescue people, and I was like, oh, I needed this. I need to see heroes being heroes.
Yeah, they're turning the tide a little bit.
The bit where Red Guardian rescues the little girl, and then the Sentry immediately turns her into shadow, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then I quickly realized, oh, she's not dead. Okay.
Right. But it looked like he was just vaporizing person after person after person, and then just tags this little girl.
It has this weird kind of like Hiroshima vibe.
These sort of burned shadows on the walls.
And I was like, oh. Well, they sort of did that in Iron Man 3, kind of, but this is a little bit...
It is disturbing
a disturbing degree.
Yeah.
And I thought that
the Void's presence as a threat was pretty palpable, I thought.
And just the design work of just him shadow with like these kind of like very... very small eyes.
You could just see the features of Bob underneath, but just barely.
Yeah.
It was good.
Now, Randy, I think you and I in particular thought that this movie could have been maybe... this might have helped it to further acknowledge its existence within the broader Marvel universe.
Yes.
By, say, having some other Marvel characters briefly cameo to try and stop the Void and get, like, wrecked.
Yeah.
And then it would be like, oh, wow, it's these misfits, these people who have actually connected to this person who are the only people who can bring him down. But I was like, it would have been cool to see the Sentry chuck the Hulk into orbit or whatever.
Yeah, I would have liked that. I understand why they didn't. I understand it's money probably and not worth it.
A little bit of maybe pulling the energy away from the leads.
Yeah. And Dave, you and I were talking after the theater too, like, well, this did all take place within like hours. So you can easily say, oh, nobody was nearby.
Right.
Even it doesn't stretch credulity that much.
People in New York were stuck in their mindscapes.
Yeah. It's easy enough to say why they didn't. It's just I think you and I, Dave, would have liked a little more show me or tell me that a little bit more in the movie. But the big ending about them being the new Avengers.
Yep.
and then revealing that Sam...
That's like Val's rebranding of them, and...
Well, she has to save face and try to weasel out of whatever could potentially go bad for her.
Yeah.
Creating the Sentry.
Arguably, she saved herself.
She wins, yeah.
Yeah. So in this one, the villain wins, and they redeem the other villain.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
It is
dynamic.
not the standard Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. And not in a bad way. I did like this.
Yeah.
But I'm really curious to see who Sam's Avengers are. And also, we get that big teaser at the end, which was given away if you're looking at the music credits.
Oh, yeah. Because
I spotted it, and I was like, I pointed it out to Dave. I'm like, look at that.
Yeah, there is a credit for the Fantastic Four theme music.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're like, we haven't heard that yet.
Yep.
And then we kind of knew what the deal was.
So then they show the multi-dimensional ship for the FF coming through here.
Yep.
We don't know why. We'll probably find out in a few months when Fantastic Four comes out.
It's true.
My guess is that the FF has either failed or they had to escape their universe to come find help or something like that. Whatever happens in Fantastic Four, they're going to wind up coming to our universe. I'm hoping it's because their Doom is in our universe. And that's why it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. as Doom.
Maybe.
And they'll that way they can actually do a different Doom later.
It's going to be very
a
dark.
real Doom.
I'm going to assume it's very dark and an incursion destroys their universe.
That's what people say. I feel like that's way too dark.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how you... But at the same time, the ads have been so full of, like, the FF saved the whole world. Yay, they saved us. That I could see that being their ironic juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And depending on how they do things, could set up Galactus as just a terrifying threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. My guess is more that they're going to have to leave their universe in some way to save their universe.
Probably.
You know what? There could be, like, by the way, this is wild speculation, some sort of other thing where it's like, you know, traditionally Reed holds off Galactus with the ultimate nullifier.
Yeah.
But what if they find a way to, like, well, Galactus needs to devour this planet. What if they can, like, shunt people to another dimension or something like that and save the people of the world or put them to another alternate world and leave the planet to be destroyed?
Yeah.
And that's, you know, them fleeing it, but they've saved the people.
Yeah, it
so
could be something like
there's
that.
still ways or things you can do in these wild superhero universes.
But at any rate, them building towards the next Avengers, building toward Doomsday, I'm excited for that, even if that was not the main thrust of this story. I'm ready for the big meta plot again.
Yeah. This is a weird Avengers team. They don't really have a ton of power.
Yep.
No.
They all punch and shoot.
Except for Sentry, who can't use his powers.
Which
I thought was hilarious.
If I was a villain, I'd probably be a little bit more afraid of these guys because they would be more like
they're going to kill me.
Like at least two of them were like known assassins.
Yes.
Yeah.
They would have had one more, but they killed Taskmaster pretty quickly.
Man, they off Taskmaster. Like that was a good little fake out. Like she's in the posters and everything.
Yeah.
And she's in the movie for like 5 minutes.
It's true.
Before Ghost shoots her in the face.
I was trying to remember who did it. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost shoots her.
Yeah. Well, you know, it happens.
I do think that was like the fan reaction to that version of Taskmaster was not great.
No, which is too bad because I actually thought it was
it
good.
was fine.
Every time I watch Black Widow, I love that movie more.
Black
and I
Widow's
actually
way better
thought their
than gets
version of
credit for.
Taskmaster was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just not Taskmaster.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that.
Right.
That's reasonable.
Well, he wasn't wearing. They weren't wearing the hockey mask, so it wasn't the best version of Taskmaster.
Wrong. I think that actually that Taskmaster could have worked even better. All that I overheard my son watching some YouTube clip about a guy who loves Taskmaster and was so mad about the way they changed the Taskmaster that he didn't get his snarky Taskmaster and his badass. And I'm like, all they needed to do was have Dreykov like using a remote radio thing and talking and snarking through her.
Oh yeah.
And then later reveal you could have fixed the whole thing with post-production stuff. Just have him doing the snark thing. And I think the exact same beats, everything else, people would like Taskmaster. Even with the reveal, I think. I don't know. But I feel like that was the misstep. Was the silent, implacable killer is not Taskmaster's strength.
I think they're going to do a new version, somebody who uses the tech, somebody who does something like that
bet
with
they
it
will.
And gets us to a more traditional task.
I bet they will.
Well, they made it a tech, so not like a mutant ability, so they can they can definitely
for sure.
Someone else can get the tech.
grab it.
I think they probably will. But yeah, I mean, good movie.
I think it was really good.
I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. I haven't had that thrill from seeing a Marvel movie since the Marvels, and I want that again.
We will see if Randy gets it.
Yes.
FF will deliver it or plunge you into the depths of despair.
Yeah. A lot riding on this, folks. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some trailers and stuff. All right, we're going to do a rapid-fire lightning round of trailers that we watched.
Yep.
Everyone will have 10 words.
Is that how it's going to go?
No. Did any of these trailers jump out at anyone? Because they seem like a little bit of a middling...
You know,
there are a couple
of the ones we saw, there's 2 I want to see.
Okay.
No, there's 3 I want to see.
All right.
So, I'm just going to go in the order where I showed them.
Sure.
Predator Badlands.
All right.
New Predator from Dan Trachtenberg, who did Predator Prey.
Yep.
As well as 10 Mock Cloverfield Lane, which we all liked.
Yep. Predator Prey was that was set in the past, right? This
Native
was
American,
like,
yes.
American, yes.
Yeah.
This seems to be set in the future on a different world.
This looks to me like the Predator graduation planet or something. There's like big monsters, and they fight each other, and they fight monsters. And so I'm thinking this is like his rite of passage kind of thing. He's a young Predator.
Oh.
MC Young Predator.
I didn't
You're saying
quite
it's a
get
Predator
that.
Bar Mitzvah.
It's a Predator Bar Mitzvah.
I didn't quite get that
No?
because he's
it's-
working with
An android.
an android or human or whatever she is with psychic abilities.
What if he's like an outcast or something?
He might be.
I think that's more of
He
what this is going for.
violated. What if he's like some kind of weird pacifist predator, and they're like, you go to the death planet?
Well, he's definitely not a pacifist.
He's definitely not a pacifist Predator.
Well,
he's
like
got a-
even the
he's got a
most
murder
pacifist predator has to be a kill. Oh, he does have a murder wall.
He does have a murder wall.
Okay, well, he's probably not a pacifist predator.
And one of the things on his murder wall looked like an alien from Independence Day, like
Wait.
literally, like straight up.
You could be a pacifist if you murdered like 100 people and like now I'm not going to murder anyone else again.
Yes, that's
You're a very dedicated pacifist.
They have different ideas.
He's a future pacifist, not a
Unless
past
predator
pacifist.
pacifists only believe they can't kill other predators. If
Right.
they kill aliens,
Maybe that's what he
okay.
did. Maybe he killed another predator, and maybe that's why he's been exiled.
That's maybe so.
If he's been exiled.
The girl in it is Chloe Moretz.
No,
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning. I know it's one of those kids.
They're all in their 20s now, Dave.
Seems like she's like an android or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
She had robot eyes.
Well, this is the
She had
first Predator movie.
psychic eyes. You never
This is
know.
the first Predator
Could
movie
be.
we've seen set in the future, right?
This is the first Predator we've ever seen told from the Predator's perspective.
Yes.
Which I think is a cool
Although,
flip.
is that definitely going to be the case? We
the
didn't
main
see
character.
him
He's the main
speak,
character.
Did we?
No. We saw him yell at somebody.
Yell at things, but
That's
But
our
they
first.
they weren't throwing up. Do you think they're going to throw up like translations and
No,
stuff?
I don't think so.
Or is it going to all be told visually?
I think it'll all be fooled visually.
Maybe so.
I'm excited for this because I like that director. I don't think we've seen this kind of version of Predator before.
the last one when they did what Native American language was it? Sioux?
Oh man, I don't remember.
They did like a cut where it was
I
just
cannot
told from
recall,
that,
but
which
yes.
I thought that was really cool.
There was an
So-
alternate language track, where you could hear it in its original
But
native dialect.
I'm hopeful this is going to be good.
I think so.
I kind of got bored watching Prey and never finished it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I love 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I think this looks pretty solid. I saw some people who were like, "Oh, this Predator looks lame compared to the original," and I was like, the impression I got was he looks kind of like he's kind of skinnier looking. He's got a
Yeah.
leaner face. But
He's a young Predator.
yeah, but like that's kind of baked into the premise of it, and I think it conveys that he's not like this, complete uber badass, which is the premise.
Yep.
Although he does have apparently a kill wall.
I don't need to see the same movie over and over again.
You know what?
Giving me something different.
That's what some people want, Nick. They want the same movie over and over.
I mean, I understand the.
But then when they
notion
get that,
behind
they hate
of
that
just
too.
kind of like But then there's the complainers too.
Yeah.
I don't know. This seems like a good flip. I'm interested just as much as I'm interested in the animated one
All right.
that he's doing.
Wednesday season 2. I don't care. It's a solid trailer.
Solid trailer.
I'll watch it. I like Tim Burton. I thought this first season was a lot of fun.
I also watched some of the first season,
I watched
but
the
never
first
finished
season
it.
and didn't finish it.
It felt like a kind of Tim Burton's Harry Potter kind of
absolutely.
version. And
It seemed
a better
pretty,
version.
pretty good at what it was doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all for anything that'll make Harry Potter vanish.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's time.
And I thought the people playing who plays Morticia, it's
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's great as that
She
character.
is.
Luis Guzman.
Luis
Luis
Guzman,
Guzman as Gomez.
Yep. And Hand is Hand.
Yeah.
as Thing.
And honestly, what's her name is Wednesday. She does an amazing job.
Right.
Yeah, she's great.
I think this has a lot of going for it. I think the first season did way better than they were expecting it to.
Right.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I'm sure. Yes, it is a thing. But I'm sure Burton is coming back to direct several episodes like he did in the first season.
I'm meant to finish watching the first season, and I may do that. I'm not sold on the second season, but maybe.
It looks cute. It looks well done.
Yeah. Right. Like if you
it just
kind of
is not
know
like
if you're kind of feeling the need for some Tim Burton / Hogwarts School vibes, but more macabre.
It also it feels like it has a little bit of
you
the
might be
same
a redneck.
vibe as the Addams Family movies.
Yeah.
That Barry Sonnenfeld
Although
did.
those were better. They were more fun.
They were more fun, although this is a different stripe of fun. I think it's not too dissimilar.
I think I like Barry Sonnenfeld better than I like Tim Burton is what it boils down to. Yeah. But I may watch this. I might. Amazon Prime puts up a new original movie, Heads of State, which is John Cena plays a former action hero turned president. This is very much playing the Arnold Schwarzenegger type
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
Idris Elba plays I'm going to guess, former military guy playing the prime minister.
Probably.
They hate each other, but they're forced to work together when someone takes down Air Force One while they're both on it.
Right,
And
they land in like dangerous territory, and
they have
then
to
they
become
have to.
president of Heads of State action heroes.
And they somehow enlist, what is it, Jack Quaid, and is it
Priya, oh man, I can't remember.
Priyanka Chopra Jones?
Yes.
I butchered that name, and I apologize.
Priyanka Chopra Jones, she's in. What is she in?
She was on that Amazon Prime show that got canceled. The one that was by the Russo brothers that was supposed to be like gigantic action.
Oh, she's also in Quantico.
She was the lead in Quantico.
I was thinking, have I seen her in anything?
She's good. She's a good action star. This seems to be playing to those strengths.
This is like an action comedy.
Yeah.
So this is the things that are notable for this. In addition to the cast, which is a lot of fun, that the two of them just being buddy cop style thing looks like fun to me. It's written by Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec, a writing team who have worked on everything from Lost, Mission. They worked on Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. I'm trying to think if they wrote that because I'm looking for their writer credits. They wrote Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. They wrote a bunch of Alias. They've done a lot of dumb fun action stuff. And the director did Hardcore Henry and Nobody.
Which Nobody is really, really fun.
Nobody's a lot of fun.
But Hardcore Henry was that first-person shooter movie that I never watched.
I haven't seen either of those.
But I'm excited for this. This looks dumb and fun.
Yeah, it definitely looks dumb. But John Cena has more comedic timing than I ever gave him credit for.
Yeah. After seeing him in Peacemaker,
He gets a few
Fast and Furious,
good bits in here.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to see this, but it looks okay.
I'm sure Idris Elba will rap at some point,
Probably.
or he'll do a song for it, and I'm here for that too.
Now, the next one we talked about is Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which is the third Now You See Me movie.
Yep.
For those who don't know
about these movies,
no, Now You See Me is about a group of magicians who are also a con man team.
Yep.
With what's his name?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Woody Harrelson. Who's the girl?
Is it? It's not Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher? It might be Isla
It might be
Fisher.
Isla Fisher, who in filming the first one almost died.
Oh.
That's why she wasn't in the second one.
Oh.
And somehow they convinced her to be back in the third one, which is pretty cool.
I've never seen the second one. Dave, I know you liked the first one. They got me to watch the first one. I liked it too. I like con man movies, so I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Now they're into the third. This gave off a very Fast and Furious vibe to me.
Yeah.
Like we know this is ridiculous. Are you on board or not? And I think I'm on board. I think I'm into it.
I'm bored. I love the first one. The second one is not amazing, but it's still entertaining.
Yeah.
I like all these people together.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman shows up. Mark Ruffalo was in the first one.
Yeah, that's right.
the first one was 2013, so 12 years ago. Yeah.
I like magicians. Weirdly.
Who's the
I saw this because my brother, who actually in his teens did stage magician stuff and did little shows and things. So he was a fan.
And the director of this is the guy who did all the Zombieland movies.
Right. Yeah.
And I think one of the Venoms, maybe?
Yeah, and
The
that's,
first one.
That's
First
fun.
one. That's the best one.
Yeah.
The bad guy seems to be played by Rosamund Pike, who I always like. She plays a great bad guy.
She does a terrific bad guy. She plays sleazy very
Yeah.
well. And this is like a Blood Diamond group of arms dealers, I guess.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm all for
I'm
it.
probably
This
gonna see
one looks entertaining.
We saw the latest trailer, Fear Street Prom Queen. This is the third Fear Street? Fourth. Oh my god.
There was a trilogy.
the 3 as like a trilogy.
Like once a month.
Yeah. So this is kind of R.L. Stein's somewhat more adult horror content.
They say the F word and they
Yeah, and you can
lots
see
of gore.
more chops.
And some
And am I correct? The previous 3, each one was set like they did one that was set in the present, and then one that was set in the 80s, and then one that was set in like the 1600s.
Yeah, I went like kind of backwards chronologically.
Yeah, but there was a link, and it involved what's the name of the town?
Shadyville
or whatever it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, and I think there was like a curse on the town. There was also another town near to them, and that town was like almost like basically got all the good luck, and they got all the worst of it. And that's kind of revealed. The origins of the towns go back to like the Salem witch trials, and all of that was revealed ultimately. It was a fun series. I think for me, the first one that came out was my favorite.
Yeah.
I
need to kind of. I want to go back
in and around a mall.
Yeah, the opening scene.
Or was it
at
just
a
the
mall.
opening scene? Okay, yeah.
And they go back to it as part of it, but
right.
This is an easy press play for me. I mean, it's Netflix, that makes it simple.
Yeah.
But I like the series of movies. I like the horror genre in general. This looks like it's leaning more into the slasher vibe instead of the witchy stuff. So
generally a pretty good series. I think if you're a horror fan, you should check it out. I probably won't catch it till maybe October, but I imagine I will catch it.
Yeah, I assume this is being put out for Halloween.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
although we're past Halloween.
I don't know.
But I think these rules are loose.
Ghosts and goblins can't tell time, Dave. And then last thing, we saw the trailer for the sci-fi show, which I forgot sci-fi was still a thing.
Yes.
Revival. This will be on Peacock a couple days after it shows on Sci-Fi.
Right.
So if you have, if you want to watch it, actually.
So Revival is based on a comic.
It's a really good comic by Tim Seeley.
Just doing adaptations of comics? Because Resident Alien was is a big
that
sci-fi
seems what
as
they're
well.
doing, yeah.
Right, so this was a comic that came out, like 10, 15 years ago?
A while ago, yeah. There's an omnibus that has the whole thing in it.
Tim Seeley?
Yeah.
It was Tim Seeley and Mike Norton, I believe.
Mike Norton.
Yes.
Yeah, and it told the story of, or at least it began, I don't know how much it spread out in this, but of a small town in blank.
Wasn't it North Dakota or...
It's somewhere in the Midwest or something. I'm trying to looking.
Some snowy place.
Wisconsin. Central Wisconsin.
Okay, where the dead had revived, but not like zombies.
For the most
people
part,
came
not.
back with their intelligence and personalities, sort of.
Yeah.
But there was something...
There was clearly something kind of off, and some bigger mystery, and the cause of it was was weird, and the law enforcement had cordoned off the area. Like, the world knew that this was going on, and they were like, was this caused by aliens? Is this a religious event? We don't know. Yep. And sort of has an ensemble cast, but was sort of seen through the eyes of a detective, who was kind of...
She was like the sheriff's daughter.
Right.
But she is a detective herself.
She was assigned to kind of work with crimes related to what they call the revived, the people who had come back. So it was her business to look into this stuff.
Yeah, it's a good story. I've read all of it. I read through it a few years ago. It ran around 2012 to 2017. Like I say, it's all now available in hardcovers, softcovers, and in one big compendium.
Right.
And I really liked it. The art on it is really good. It's by Mike Norton.
Yeah.
And this trailer looks like a solid adaptation of it. I mean, I'm always a little skeptical of sci-fi. They always seem a little low budget. But then they've given us Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
And some other stuff. And Resident Alien is fun.
Yep.
I was looking to see who the creators were, and I'm not...
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'll probably give this a look.
Yeah, I think it almost certainly is at least worth that. And if anybody wants to kind of see what the deal is, you should read the graphic novels.
100%. The graphic novel's good.
Yeah, all right. That'll wrap it up for us this week. And we'll be back next week with more. Until that time, yo, Joe.
Roguecast is a weekly podcast broadcast from Rogues Gallery Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas. You can find us online on Facebook and at www.roguesgallerytx.com and email us comments or questions at roguesgallerytx@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.